Today, M1's profound impact continues as we are about to take another exciting step forward.
The M1 chip is not just in the Mac, it's now in iPad Pro, and it's gonna blow you away. Get ready for this. The graphics of this new iPad Pro is now over 1,500 times faster. And edit true-to-life HDR content using LumaFusion.
Okay, so we started scripting this video as your typical Pocketnow Daily, where I go through a recap of all things Apple, but then I realized that I had just too much to say to only report the news. The event ended, and then I was hoping for a one more thing, and it didn't happen. Don't get me wrong, a lot of what was announced was great, then some was expected, and then some was underutilized potential, and some just did not happen. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow. Let's dive into Apple's spring-loaded event. So let me start with the things we did not get. No AirPods, which have been heavily rumored for this event. Seems that Ming-Chi Kuo's predictions were right in that production will not begin until the fall. No iPad mini update, which I really wanted, which at this point seems to be either a dead product or some silent update that'll happen later. We're going to talk more about iPads soon and why I'm so disappointed. So if you want to just jump to that, we'll have time codes in the description. As for what we did get, I mean, historically, this was once a services event, and then we got some of that. I mean, Apple Card now supports families, so spouses can share credit together, and you can even share your card with children 14 and older with spending limits, because I guess Apple has never met my kids. Now, something I am a bit disappointed about is Apple Podcasts, but I might just have to wait until the product launches, because right now all we heard was a new design with recommended content to explore, ways to subscribe and get early access to content, and support for 170 countries. What we didn't hear was support for video, which I'm hoping I miraculously missed or something. I mean, if Apple wants to bank on how popular video has become to this medium and how Spotify is leveraging this, they really need to act on that. Also, in a very non-Apple fashion, we get a new color for the iPhone 12 being released midterm. And listen, this is not new. We saw it with the white iPhone 4 and with the product red editions of the iPhone, but a product purple is interesting. And by the way, the original code name for the iPhone project was Purple, so it's funny that we had to wait 13 years to actually get one. Yes, it's for both the regular 12 and the mini, with pre-orders Friday and available on April 30th. Now, a big deal was made about Apple's Find My feature, and, well, it's taking a step further because of AirTags. Guys, this is not your typical Bluetooth tracker. If you have an iPhone with a U1 chip, Apple offers something called Precision Finding, which provides visual, audible, and haptic feedback of where your product is, and not just sounds or a half-baked map view. There's added privacy measures to avoid unwanted detection, and there will be a ton of accessories that help you clamp them to whatever you want. Pre-orders start on Friday, and they're available on April 30th. They start for $30, and you can get 4 for $100, which is actually not a bad deal. Now, a product that I thought was going to die into TV applications was the company's Apple TV, but nope, the 4K variant is getting some much needed updates, you could say. A12 Bionic chip that can now play HDR content in high refresh rate, meaning if you filmed anything in Dolby Vision on your iPhone 12 Pro, you'll finally be able to watch it stream through AirPlay. Now, interesting, to ensure color accuracy, there's even now a color balance feature that helps you use your iPhone to calibrate the signal the Apple TV will send to your television, which we've seen TCL TVs do. Maybe what took too long to see is this new Siri remote. The previous one was terrible, but now in iPod fashion, you have a click pad that's touch-enabled and allows circular gestures for jaw control. There's now a power and mute button for you to control your TV, and the Siri button is now out of the way, as it should be. It starts at $179 for 32 gigs of storage, with more capacity for a couple of extra bucks, with pre-orders beginning on April 30th. But then from now on, you're gonna be hearing a lot of available in the second half of May, which is not like Apple. It's odd that we're not getting confirmed dates, could be because of the chip shortage. But alright, as for the two cool kids in the room, let's talk about the first one, the M1 iMac. I mean, this portion of the event started well with those Spectrum colors, paying an homage to the original iMac. That whole slim body that we've dreamed of is here. I mean, it was all going well, but then those white bezels, like, seriously, who can get immersed into content with that? But anyways, it's powered by the M1 chip, and this is what allows such a slim profile. There are two fans that don't make more than 10 decibels of noise at the bottom, with the logic board that's pretty tiny compared to the past. This is now a 24-inch 4.5K Retina display that supports the P3 color gamut, 500 nits of brightness, true tone, a reflective coating. You get the picture. I'm honestly more excited for the 1080p camera with computational video and the 3 mic array that allows beam forming so that the rest of the room doesn't bother your calls. There's also spatial audio thanks to a crazy set of speakers at the bottom. There's a magnetic fabric cable behind that has an Ethernet port on the power adapter. Like, seriously pretty cool. There's even a new set of Magic keyboard accessories with 2 supporting Touch ID, a new Magic trackpad, and Magic mouse with colors to match, though we're still not sure if they still charge awkwardly through Lightning. We'll keep you posted. Even better, this would be the first M1 product with more than one USB-C port. There's actually 4 with 2 supporting Thunderbolt, though obviously in the worst placement ever at the back because, I mean, it wouldn't be an iMac if that wouldn't be weird. But there are a couple of catches you should know. Like, the first is that at the starting price of $12.99, the color options are limited and you don't get the Ethernet adapter on the power brick, and you lose those 2 extra USB-C ports and the Touch ID on the Magic keyboard unless you buy separately. All those bells and whistles that Apple made a big deal about are actually only on the more expensive $14.99 or $16.99 models. Orders also start on April 30th with availability on the second half of May. I think that the base model is enough for anyone looking for a powerful creative tool since, I mean, it's proven that the M1 on Apple's laptops is crazy good. Honestly, I think that my biggest problem is with the second product. So to provide some context, ever since the first generation iPad, we have dreamed about Apple making a tablet. I mean, Steve Jobs even famously made fun of it. But at the time, the dream was OS X. The last thing we wanted was an iPod Touch with a larger canvas, and this is why it was so highly criticized. The only reason it took off was because it was priced way below what people predicted. And listen, I get it. The iPad wasn't ideal, but its A4 chip laid the foundation that created the M1 chip that now has every chip maker and their mother fighting to catch up. So, of course, you start the event with an M1 chip on an iPad Pro at the time when macOS Big Sur already runs on it, and I was literally standing on my chair just ecstatic. Sadly, no. You have all the power of a MacBook Pro on an iPad Pro that continues to be neutered by an operating system that's designed mostly for phones. And oh, by the way, the phone's handling widgets better. So yes, we now have 5G support. The Pro cameras have this crazy motion tracking feature that lets you apply chroma effects in real time. That's pretty cool. I mean, there's an ultra-wide Face ID camera that can track you for wider FaceTime calls. Guys, we even get Thunderbolt support over USB-C, and yes, crazy improvements in performance when compared to the previous model. The problem is that if you know anything about iPads, that won't mean much in how applications will run, so I mean, what's the point? Also, my second problem is that the whole mini LED display with Pro Display XDR claims is only available on the larger model, which is priced so high that at that point, just buy a MacBook Air and save some money. Like, seriously. All right, listen, I'm gonna calm down because here's the thing, I have a little theory when it comes to all of this underutilized potential. Either this is the most powerful creative tool that continues to be neutered by its operating system, or Apple has something else up its sleeve. Like, maybe not Mac OS, but if a Mac can run iPad applications, what if this is the way to get Mac applications to run on an iPad? And then you choose the form factor you want. Like, if this is finally the way to get Final Cut Pro running on an iPad, that would be fantastic, because unless this happens on Apple's WWDC in June, I hate to say this, but you're going to be fine with an iPad Air or a MacBook Air. There is simply no purpose for this iPad Pro other than bragging rights of performance you won't be able to achieve. There's no such thing as iPad applications that can only run on Pro models unless you consider the whole LiDAR limitations that people barely care about. Point is, Apple, really, you have to make these iPad Pros for the pros. Anyways, I'm curious to know what you think about these new iPads in the comments, or which other product was your favorite at the event, because for me, I'm going to say AirTags, like seriously. Regardless, guys, we go into far more detail on Pocketnow.com, so make sure you read us there and also follow us on social media. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow me on my personal handles to see me struggle with wanting a new iPad now. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.